Thank you everyone for joining today. Today we are talking about the event, Get Ready for Our Salesforce Career, knowing more about what you can do to achieve your next best job, where to go, what to look for, how to interview, things like those we are going to cover today. We have our very best Adam Best today. He is a senior program architect at Salesforce, and he would be giving the session today. Adam, you want to take it from here?
Brilliant. Thanks, Gerline. And I'll tell you what, thank you everyone for coming today, whether you're new to the ecosystem or whether you're in your first, I would say 5 to 10 years. I think everyone's going to get something out of today to help you boost your career along. So some logistics. So if you have a question, I want lots of questions. So if you have a question, chuck it in the chat panel. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So we're running about 4 minutes after session start. So for the next 25 minutes, we'll go through some content. And then hopefully we'll have about 30 minutes for Q&A. So lots of questions, please. Gerline has just clicked the record button. So she will be sharing this video after today. And also the deck presented today with lots and lots of goodies will be shared with you as well in PDF format after today's session. And it wouldn't be a Salesforce presentation without a forward-looking statement. Not that we might be talking about anything forward-looking, but this is just to remind you to please make any purchasing decisions as a customer based on features generally available today. And because Salesforce is so innovative, we have 2 slides reminding you to that effect. And I wanted to start by saying thank you for your time. You know, the most precious thing someone can give you is your time. I want to give my time back to the community. You know, someone tapped me on the shoulder 13 odd years ago and said, hey, come look at this Salesforce thing. And I was sitting over in the open source world and doing websites and a lot of other cool digital things. But thank you for your time. I hope you get lots of value out of today. And this is really about your success, so making you more successful, okay? So from this presentation, we'll have a quick look at the Salesforce ecosystem. You know, what money is being spent where are the opportunities? A little bit about Trailhead, if you have just some bite-sized chunks of information about Trailhead, the community. A little bit about the architect paths. So if you want to be a solution architect or a Salesforce consultant, just going through what those roles are. Importance of personal branding. So I think long gone are the days where you can just say, hey, you know, I'm going to apply for this job on this billboard. In Australia, we have like Seek. You know, so jobs are more a source many different ways this, you know, today. And of course, Q&A and feedback forms. So I'm going to have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. You know, that's where I guess, you know, you might have a burning question. The other 42 people on this call today might have the same question. Okay, so no question is a silly question. We were all questions, and as soon as you have a question, pop it in the chat panel, and we'll get to those in the second half of the segment. So first lesson for today: 30-second elevator pitch. If you can't tell someone in 30 seconds or less how you're going to help them, you're not going to get a job. You might, but you're not going to get a good job. Okay. So when someone asks me, hey, Adam, what do you do if I'm in an elevator? Okay. If I'm in an elevator with a CIO or a program manager and they say, hey, Adam, how are you going to help me? I say to this person, I'm passionate about helping customers be successful with Salesforce and help them get the most out of their Salesforce investment. I have 12 years, 13 years experience in delivering small and large-scale Salesforce transformations in telco, government, financial services, and higher ed across Australia. And I'm also well known for being the local DevOps SME, okay, and thought leader. I could also add to this 30-second elevator pitch that I'm passionate about the aspiring trailblazer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. So I would probably update this to say I'm also passionate about the aspiring trailblazer. Why? Well, I've been in the industry 12 years. You might be saying, Adam, hey, you're going to help me get a job. You know, you've had a job for years and years. Well, a few years ago, I helped my brother-in-law. He came to me and said, hey, you know, I'm a football player, but I want to get in tech. You know, tech has nothing to do with football apart from maybe football being on a TV. When I say football, I'm meaning rugby league, right? So I know we're from a global audience here, from Chicago to Maine to London. I saw that at the beginning. Thank you, everyone. A bit of camaraderie there around the world. And so I said, hey, yeah, get on Trailhead, do your badges. 9 months later, he got a job at a smaller SI. SI is a consultancy firm. But through that journey, I discovered how hard it was to get your first job in the ecosystem. And so everything that's in today's presentation is a bit from Salesforce, a bit from influencers, and I'll show you those influences on a later slide. Okay. So about the ecosystem, you know, where are all the jobs? Well, Salesforce says, and this is about 9 months old now, but Salesforce says between now to 2024, there's going to be 4.2 million new Salesforce economy jobs. Okay. I'm in Australia, 42,000 more jobs heading my way. Those of you who are in United Kingdom, London, 144,000 jobs coming your way. Okay. Lots of new jobs coming in the ecosystem, net new jobs. So that means we need net new talent. So if you're jumping from another vertical of IT, or if you're coming from, Laurie, I know you're passionate about healthcare, coming from healthcare, lots of transferable skills, because you can walk straight into a customer who is obviously doing a transformation in the healthcare sector, which is a emerging market and booming in some countries as well. Okay, lots of new jobs means lots of demand. Now, if you're in Australia and New Zealand, this might be useful to you. If you're in other countries, it also might be useful to you. So if you've got a camera, click that or scan, or take a picture of that barcode, download that ebook. I actually haven't downloaded it myself, but our Talent Alliance team put that together, and it's got a whole bunch of goodies for you. About the ecosystem, explaining what an SI is, and about Trailhead and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's a nice little ebook for you to take away. And if you don't have a camera today, that's fine. You can click that link later when you get a copy of this deck. The second thing you can do if you're new, if you have less than 6 months, 6 months or less of Salesforce experience, okay, so you're new to the Salesforce industry, you're looking at getting that first job, scan that barcode. It's going to take you to the Salesforce Talent Alliance LinkedIn group, and click request to join, and just say, hey, I'm a newbie, just saw Adam present and want to join this, and looking for a job, and very excited, and and they'll allow you to join, and that's where some opportunities go in there as well from our consulting partners, our SIs. Okay, cool. What is Trailhead? So Trailhead is, you can see the Trailblazer jumper there. Trailblazer jumper. You can see mine. There we go. My kids' stuff behind me, the cards and daddy things. But Trailhead is basically a free online learning platform. Okay, learn the skills, the additional skills you need for digital. You're earning role-based credentials, and you're connecting with a community. Okay, and this slide says we have 3 million learners. So 3 million people like you on Trailhead learning. So, what is what is Trailhead really? It's bite-sized learning. It's gamified, so you get badges. It's personalized for roles and levels, so you can actually go and click onto Salesforce Administrator and find trails relevant to your kind of aspirational career goal. And also virtual. It's online and it's mobile, so you can do your learning online, or if you're sitting in the car, waiting for your son or daughter to finish martial arts, or your pup, your poodle getting groomed, you can get on and do a couple of modules and do some learning while you're waiting. Okay. What are you going to be learning? Well, first and foremost, you will be learning technology, okay? But you also might be learning about business or soft skills. So maybe presentation skills, maybe how to present like I'm presenting today. And of course, the Salesforce platform, okay? So whether that be the Salesforce CRM, which is the Lightning platform, other products that Salesforce has in their suite, such as Tableau, and MuleSoft, and so on and so forth. Okay, so lots of learning there. I don't know how many badges are on there. I think there might be about 1,400 or 1,500 these days. Okay, so lots of learning on there for you to get started straight away. And where are you going to start? Well, I'll tell you what, Megan Peterson, who's Director Trailblazer Engagement, and some of you might know her if you're already in the community, says, the quickest or the best way to start is learning about Trailhead, learning about Salesforce, our technology, and earning some points to get onto the road to Ranger. So I've got this Trailblazer hoodie on, and you can see this Ranger tag here. That means I've got 100, at least 100 badges. And so Megan says if you do these 3 trail mixes, that's a nice way to learn about Trailhead and Salesforce, and you'll be on the road to Ranger. You'll get your 100 points, your 100 badges, I should say. So whilst you're learning, get into the Trailblazer community. So did you know there's over 1,000 collaboration groups, over 1,000, and daily and monthly, I should say, there's over 4,000 questions answered per month. So, people just like me and Gerline are on the Trailblazer community answering questions that people might have. How do you do this? Or what's the best way to do that? Okay, so we've got a vibrant community. And not only do we have a vibrant community and community groups chatting away and answering questions, but we also have events like this, so we're very fortunate. Gerline has sponsored today, helping you get started with your Salesforce career, or maybe helping you to get the next level. But there's lots of communities around the world who are doing the same thing, and it might be technology specific. So I live in Brisbane, so I've put in, find meetings near me, and there was something to do with Salesforce DX. I'm not going to go into that today, but definitely down my evangelism alley. Release notes. We've just had Spring 22, so obviously there was a meeting at the time that I took this picture about Summer 21, and a whole non-for-profit sector, something about campaigns as well. Okay, so you can go to Trailblazer community groups, get in, click, put your state, your suburb, postcode, country in there, and find community events near you. A lot of them will be virtual still. You might find some in-person ones, which are really cool to attend as well. Okay. So while you're in Trailhead and you're getting your badges, definitely take note of your Trailblazer Me profile. It's similar to what we're about to talk about, which is your LinkedIn profile as well. So So this is where the number of badges that you've done is. You also should take care about your picture, and the elevator pitch that I just gave you in a few slides ago. You should put your own elevator pitch on the description here. Okay. You should make a proper .me ID down the bottom. Okay, because you definitely want to use this as part of your personal branding. Okay, why? I'll be going across that in a couple of slides. This also has a number of points, trails. If you're doing certifications, your Trailblazer Me profile will have those certs there as well. Yeah. So let's talk about the different roles in the ecosystem. People tell me, Adam, what's the difference between a Salesforce administrator and a Salesforce consultant? Well, their duties will vary, but what they do is generally the same. So Salesforce administrator is someone administrating or being guarding of the platform. They might develop on the platform small things. They might support business users with reports and dashboards. They're really supporting the business on a day-to-day. Okay, they're the custodian of the org, and then the front line of the Salesforce org in their customer. Okay. The Salesforce consultant, second from the right, is developing on the platform, but they're usually sitting in an SI, a consultancy firm, and they're usually part of a project team. Okay, so kind of same skill set, but different daily duties. Salesforce developer right in the middle. We should reorder these sometime, but Salesforce developer right in the middle. They're more of your programmer, so they need to click, but they'll also be coding as well. Salesforce architect, I could probably call a senior developer, although technically you don't have to be a developer to be an architect. An architect is someone like myself who's just got the breadth and the depth of the Salesforce platform, and to some extent the ecosystem as well. If you're a marketer, if you're transferring, if you're wanting to get into the Salesforce industry from another, technology, but you're a marketer, then of course we have Marketing Cloud, we have Pardot, that's Email Studio, you've got Ad Studio, Datarama, whole wide range of marketing tools to connect with the customer's customer. And finally, on the right hand side, a Salesforce designer is what Salesforce just calls a UX UI person who brings their UX UI deep knowledge of experience and also understands how to apply it on the Salesforce platform with Salesforce transformations. Okay, but whatever you're doing, whichever way you want to go, everyone usually starts with the administrator cert. You need that base knowledge. Okay, you know how to create a user, how to create an object. To some extent, even flows. I'm not too sure if flows is in administrator, but the point and click. Okay, everyone should start with the admin cert, and I quite often hear that it's minimum for companies to even look at you. Okay, so get on Trailhead, get the Road to Ranger. That's free. Come over, do the admin cert. That's not free. That's a paid cert. I think it's $200 US. That's a small investment for a really vibrant career. Okay, and I can see questions coming in. That's awesome. We're about 10 minutes away from Q&A, so please keep those questions rolling, and we'll get to those questions in a few moments. Okay, so the architect path. We saw Salesforce architect. Well, how do we get there? Well, we just talked about the certified administrator cert right down the bottom. There's actually I would say there's either 29 or 30 certifications that you can do from Salesforce. Some of these certifications will be on the path to technical architect. So you've got your dev, your platform dev 1, integration identity, development lifecycle and deployment architect. You know what? AKA DevOps. That's what I love to evangelize about. And then you've got the click side. You've got platform, app builder, code side, actually, I should say. The platform app builder, the developer one, sharing and visibility, and data architect. So you've got application architect and system architect. They're 2 mini certs if you get those 4. And then once you get those 2, then you can do your certified technical architect. You can call yourself a technical architect, but you can't call yourself a certified technical architect until you do the technical architect. And I guess that's the, the cert a lot of people strive for. It's a grueling 3-hour panel presentation, and there's not too many of them in the world. I don't know the numbers. In Australia, I think we got about 15. Okay, so not too 15. Yeah. So Salesforce just recently added 2 more certs, B2B solution architect and B2C solution architect. So if you want to be a solution architect, that you're more point to click. You're less deep in your integration, code side like LWC and Apex, and you're more heavy in the clicks. Okay. Cool. Personal branding, and this is probably the most important part of today's session, because it's not just about applying for a job on a billboard these days, whether in Australia it be Seek, in other countries I'm not too sure, but it's about connecting with people before they have a job. Okay. So what is personal brand? Personal brand is channel specific. Okay. It highlights what is important to you, and it's what others think. So if I'm on social media like Facebook, I'm gonna write I like donuts. And if I'm on Snapchat, I'm gonna be saying watch me eat a donut. And if I'm on Instagram, I'm gonna say here's a cool picture of my donut. And if I'm on Pinterest, I'm going to say, here's a cool recipe of my donut. And if I'm on Spotify, I'm listening to donuts, or I don't know how that would sound. And I guess the last one is WeChat. Anyone want a donut? Okay. On LinkedIn, it's like a professional mindset. And I always say, if you're not going to put it on your resume, don't post it on LinkedIn. Okay. I hope to operate a donut franchise one day. I'm looking for a job at a donut company. I have 3 years experience making donuts. My top skills are donut production and sales. And here's 3 recommendations from former donut colleagues. Transfer that to the Salesforce world, and it's about career, Salesforce, flows, cool tips, cool new features. Okay. If you want to post something about, gardening, okay, then you could do it. It's interesting to you. Make it positive, but don't swamp your LinkedIn profile full of gardening. Okay, it's more about your personal brand with work, and that could possibly be the Salesforce industry, or other things like data you're passionate about, data or security, and so on and so forth. Okay, so first and foremost, Salesforce and the Salesforce ecosystem, it is on predominantly LinkedIn and Twitter. Okay, I'm predominantly LinkedIn, so I'm going to educate you about LinkedIn. Have a background image. Okay, you know what? You could nick my image. You could take the top right-hand corner out because you don't work for Salesforce, but then you could put your own something or other in there. Okay, the left-hand side of my background image could be got off anywhere. So, have a good background image which really displays you. If you're already working for a company, then obviously, you know, have it display some sort of thing about your company as well. Upload a professional photo. Okay, that was me. I think I was at Dreamforce 218. I was in a business shirt. If you want to upload a photo with your Trailblazer hoodie on, that's okay. That's professional in the Salesforce industry. But don't have like this random one where you're on a boat with sunnies, you can't see you. Have it professional, okay? Because that's what people are going to recognize when they think, oh yeah, that's Adam. I've seen him online and now he's asking me for a job, right? So, you know, they got that picture in their mind. Write a compelling headline. That's literally your 30-second elevator pitch. Again, this 30-second elevator pitch is a constant theme throughout today. What's your 30-second elevator pitch? How can you help? If you don't have 12 years Salesforce experience, you might have, you know, 8 years of customer service experience, or 5 years of you know, serving military experience, and that's project management, and that's you know, resource management, and that's customer service, and that's speaking to high-ranking officers, or you know, or in professional speak, COs and CIOs. Okay, so there's lots of transferable skills that you can highlight, even though you might not have worked in the Salesforce ecosystem. Okay, tell your story in the summary, and add rich media. Okay, so if you happen to be a vlogger, a YouTuber or something, you know, chuck a couple of videos in the featured or an article. You can write an article on how to create a field, and there's someone in the ecosystem who doesn't know how to create a field, so you're going to be teaching them something, right? You know, there's always someone in the industry who knows less than you, even if you only have 10 badges. Okay, so to get I'm not going to say to get attention, but to start adding value, to highlighting what you're doing, you can create a few articles on LinkedIn and stick them on your featured. Okay, and there's more tips found at that bit.ly address there. Cool. Build your network. Hey, you can scan your screen now, click the connect button. I think you'll have to click the 3 dots and then the connect button. I will accept your connection, you know, and then your feed will start to have some Salesforce things pop in it that might be relevant to you. So I might like great opportunities. There might be job opportunities, or there might be learning opportunities. So really starting to network with Salesforce people, filling your feed, and be honored to have you as my connection. And then it's really about, you know, connecting with a whole bunch of other folk. And if you're connecting in person, on your LinkedIn app on your phone, there's 4 dots next to the search button. That's where you can get your own code like this one. And of course, you can scan other people's code and then get to their own profile to connect. Okay. So you want to start to have, you know, you need a feed full of Salesforce stuff. Okay. When you get on, whenever you commit your time to social media, you get on, you're committing your time to almost your brand and your security in the ecosystem. So it's a little bit more than social media. You get on and you want your feed to be full of Salesforce stuff. So maybe you're looking to get a job at one of the companies like Accenture or Deloitte, maybe your own telecommunications company like AT&T or Vodafone. Maybe you put your university down there, your school. Of course, start to follow companies and start to follow CEOs, or Jacinda, as I follow her because she's Prime Minister of New Zealand and I think she's cool, right? You want your feed to be full of Salesforce stuff and things you value, okay? So start to follow a whole bunch of companies there. So specifically Salesforce companies. So if you search for Salesforce under companies, or if you scan that barcode, then you'll find a whole bunch of Salesforce companies. Note that Salesforce is in San Francisco. So there is a Salesforce developers in India. It's only got 3,000 followers. So just check that it is an official Salesforce company, just so that you can have a whole bunch of official Salesforce information coming your way, maybe about cool features. You know, there's a free program. You'll have to look on my activity. I think I commented on it for folks in Australia about helping you get to admin certification. So have a look at, ping me about that if you're in Australia and want to learn more. But those particular official things coming out from Salesforce will be on the Salesforce LinkedIn. Also, especially if you're an aspiring trailblazer looking to get into the market, we have a whole bunch of influencers. Ben Duncan is a local recruiter. Everyone knows Ben in Australia and New Zealand, and he has a podcast, and he also puts tips and bits as well for the aspiring trailblazer as well. So he's great for the newbie. Funnily enough, his advice is to get your first job. It's not through someone like Ben, but he really puts a lot of information out for newbies, and that's pretty cool. You know, someone like Heather Black is CEO of Supermums, and so specifically if you're a mum getting back into the workforce, she's got some cool help around for you, training and certifications and so on and so forth. David Scott Naver, he runs a weekly military trailblazer office hours, anything and everything on personal branding, and you don't even have to be military to attend. He welcomes everyone. It can be military, it can be spouses, it can be anyone on the call today. And also he's got a great YouTube channel where it's information like this, but it might be deeper. I can only go so deep, in the 35 minutes that we've had. So take a snapshot of this page, or after today, get the deck and start following all these folk here, and you'll start to get your feed full of tips on how to get a job and salary bands, and what is informational interview, what kind of resumes should we, what kind of things should we put on our resume, and so on and so forth. A few more tips: celebrate your wins. So if you've, Laurie, I believe you're here today. I think you're here today. If you're not, apologies, but I'm pretty sure I saw you. I've got your picture there for your portfolio. But there's a badge on Trailhead which teaches you how to build a community. There you go. That's your portfolio. Thank you, Laurie. It's a beautiful portfolio. Love the image there, the background image there. But so if you want to build a personal portfolio like Laurie, you've got a badge there which teaches you how to create your experience. Again, Trailhead is free. You get something called a playground to do your stuff in. It's your own mini version of Salesforce, and you can showcase that. You're building something and you're showcasing that. So even though you haven't got a job yet per se, you can then showcase that, hey, I've built Experience Cloud. I've got a portfolio. Check out my work. Okay. And finally, know who your local SIs and start applying. So Australia, New Zealand. So an SI is a consulting firm. Okay. So in Australia and New Zealand, we've got folks like Deloitte, 8 Squad, Cluedo, Aware, KPMG, so on and so forth. In the USA, thank you very much for this list. Gurleen, we've got, folks like Accenture, Deloitte again, Simplest, Slalom. I think I better mention Slalom a few times. I think that's where Gurleen works. And there are global SIs. So if you're not in those two regions, there are global SIs as well. So you probably find these 5 SIs: Deloitte, PwC, Accenture, Capgemini, Datarati in your region. But coming back there's a link at the bottom there, consulting, and you can search for an SI in your region that you might want to start connecting with now, so that they know you, so that when you want a job, you can say, hey, I'd love a job. Have you got any entry-level positions? Yeah, because it's all about your personal brand. So don't just ask people for jobs. It's about connecting. It's about building trust. So if you know someone at Deloitte, or if you see someone here at Deloitte today, connect with them, and then a few months later, just say, hey, I've done my admin cert. Have you got any jobs, entry-level jobs going at in your company? It's all about networking. Okay. So with that, lots of useful information. Pretty broad there, Gerline. Gerline.
Yes. I was just trying to put myself on mute here.
Oh, brilliant. And I'm sorry about my headshot here. My camera wasn't working, and so I've got one camera on the other side. But anyway, that's all right. So, we've got lots of questions.
Perfect. So now we have the Q&A part, and let's take out some questions here.
Before we do questions, do you want to explain the wheel and the feedback form?
Yes. So today we have a prize in the end. So we would love to have your feedback. Whoever fills in the feedback form, we have a link right here on the screen right now. Whoever fills in the feedback form would have an opportunity to be part of our game in the end. So while we do the Q&A, feel free to fill in the feedback form. You could be the lucky one today to get the prize. Thank you for reminding me, Adam.
Brilliant. Awesome.
All right, so I'll go with the first question that I see here. Without prior experience in Salesforce, nor tech, nor business, what are the entry-level jobs that can lead to consulting? How long will it take to be in entry-level before getting into consulting?
Yep. Cool. So entry-level is really just, I guess your first job in the ecosystem. So there are a variety of ways, and that's why I say, check out these influencers, because where are these influencers? There, check out these influencers, because there are many ways you can get entry level. So you can do some volunteering. You might through a graduate program. So there might be a graduate program. So if you go on to say Accenture's website now and look for the grad program, you might qualify to apply for the grad program, which would be your first job. If you were successful, there might be a job advertised on a message board, like Seek in Australia. That is like junior, okay? In other countries, I call them freshers. So yeah, any junior or fresher role, Salesforce admin role, they come around. They come around often, but yeah, that's an entry level. An entry level is really your first role in the industry. So if you're coming from other industries, so if you're just coming straight from high school and maybe you have a degree, maybe you're an undergrad, you might have some experience. Maybe you're president of the tea club, or you've done some, volunteering. You might have some, experience there. If you're coming from another vertical, you might of IT, you might have some background digital experience. If you're coming from healthcare, of course, you'd have lots of experience in that industry, but also lots of transferable skills, just helping you get that first job. So yeah, entry level is just that first job, and that looks different from one person to the next. But you just want the best chance of getting a job, and that's doing everything that we just talked about today, going from your, putting your LinkedIn personal branding, connecting with people, making sure people know who you are, building up your skills, and really going out and going gung-ho to get that first job.
I just wanted to add something here, Adam. Some of the consulting companies here in US do have academies as well. Like Slalom has an academy, Deloitte has one, CGI has one. They have cohorts that they run, and they sometimes hire consultants from those cohorts as well. So those are also some things that you can look for. Like Slalom, as I said, Slalom has a Salesforce academy that they have cohorts running once or twice a year for that.
That's awesome.
Just something for entry level to showcase their skill set and get in. The next question is, hello, I am from commerce background, want to start career in Salesforce, have no technical experience. So what should be the roadmap?
Commerce background, no technical experience. So look, it depends. Commerce, if lots of customer service experience, looking at, so Salesforce has B2B commerce and B2C commerce. So you have lots of industry experience, which already someone who isn't from your industry doesn't have for your B2B and B2C solution architect. So whilst you have to skill up on the platform, so looking at sales and service and experience, you're going to have a lot of commerce experience, which brings you to things like orders and loyalty and so on and so forth. So if you again just start from the beginning like everyone else, go to Trailhead, start learning, then look at doing your admin certification, and then you can just showcase that on your resume to your prospective SI, or you might decide to ask Walmart to say, hey Walmart, I've got a bunch of commerce experience, give me a job in your Salesforce team. So there's a disclaimer, I don't know if Walmart is a Salesforce customer or if they have a Salesforce team, but they're the only kind of American brand I know. But in Australia would be like Bunnings, right? So some major commerce organization might have their own team. So you can get a job directly in a customer. You don't have to go and work for an SI. But yeah, lots of transferable skills. If you're a mum, I was listening to Heather Black the other day, and if you're a mum and you're re-entering the workforce after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you've run a mini country, you've got excellent organizational skills, you've got excellent people skills. There are so many transferable skills, just from being a mum, right? So think about what you're good at. What skills do you already have that are going to be valuable to your prospective customer and employer? Some of those skills are soft skills you can't teach. We'll highlight them, put them on your resume. Oh, you're on mute, Gerlene.
My bad. The next one that I have here is, does a degree required to start a career in Salesforce?
A degree. You know what? No, I don't have a degree. I never went to university. I never went to college. After high school, I went straight into the workforce doing accounting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and then ventured into IT just because I had a knack for it. Someone allowed me to code for a job. So, but quite often, more often than not, right now today, the aspiring trailblazer does not have a degree. In saying that, in some regions, you might find it difficult getting a job without a degree. So in my region, Australia and New Zealand, a degree is desirable but not mandatory. There are plenty of people getting jobs without degrees. A degree might help you. It's kind of like a level of, in Australia and New Zealand, it's a level of, it's like bonus points, right? Have you done some trials? Great, there's a few points. Have you got an admin cert? Great, there's a few points. Do you present well? That's a few points. So it's all about levels of points per se. In other regions, I can't speak to that. Maybe Gerline, can you speak to that in your region? Do you need a degree?
I did answer that question. It's most of the region in US, most of the jobs do not require a degree. They look for more of your ability to do the job more than a degree. There are not many companies that I see that are asking for a degree. Even if they ask, that's not a requirement per se.
And by the way, if you do have a degree, that's awesome because you've obviously got the knowledge of maybe software engineering and computer science. You've got that. You've worked harder a few years to get that information, so you've got lots of good information. I learned that over 20 years. You just learn it in a couple of years, right? So if you have a degree, that's good. That's going to be beneficial and give you more points. But don't forget all the other things like personal branding and Trailhead and your admin cert, minimum admin cert, and networking. Because if no one knows who you are, then you're not going to be able to get those organic opportunities for that first job. Okay, so organic opportunities for getting that first job.
Perfect. The next one that I have here is I'm preparing for the system admin cert. And can you please advise what are the modules I should focus on Trailhead?
The system, the Salesforce administrator cert. So if you go to your certifications on Trailhead, so you go to trailhead.com, go to certifications, you go to your specific certification. There's a trail mix. It's like prep study material. So each certification will have a trail mix of modules that they recommend you go and do. Some of the trail mixes might be, 100 hours worth of work. They're quite extensive. They're multiple choice, and they're also hands-on. So sometimes you're actually getting your version of Salesforce, which is called a playground, and completing a particular challenge, and then it authenticates that you've done it correctly. I recommend you do the trail mix for that particular certification. Any certification you do, recommend at minimum you do the trail mix. I have had the other influencers that I've been watching. I have had people say that there's also, if you still want to, if you still want more prep work, Unity is a good website that has some good prep stuff for your Salesforce administrator. But again, follow those other influencers, and you might be able to look at their posts. Literally, if you go down like Bradley Rice, you'll find and go down to his last posts, you'll just find a year's worth of awesome tips and stuff. So you get lots more tips there as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Go to the next question. For many entry-level positions, asking experience of 3 years, what to do in this case?
Entry level with experience of 3 years. Well, I would say that company's confused, because entry level means entry, first job. And how can you have 3 years experience if it's your first job? So you know what? I would say for any job, not just entry level, but for any job, if you're looking at a job ad and you think you can do it, you tick off 50% of the criteria. One of those might not be the 3 years experience, but it might be, you've already done your admin cert, and you know about sales and service cloud and experience cloud because you've done those modules. You've done Trailhead on them and you're pretty happy with them, and you've an experience cloud, you've put up your own portfolio like Laurie, then go apply. What's the worst they can do? Say no. Go apply. You've ticked most of the boxes. In fact, if you're looking at a job and you tick half the boxes, I'd say go apply. The worst they can do is say no. They might be looking for a golden nugget. They won't get it. Then they'll go, okay, well, what can this person offer? Well, because they've got less experience, we can pay them less. Bradley Rice had a really good video on pay. So what people were getting paid, 60, 70, 8, sometimes even 80,000 for the first job per year. I think his average was 72,000 or something. It's not just about your first job, but any job. If you've got 50% of what they're asking for, go apply. No one's going to have 100% of what someone's asking for. Okay. Again, if they said, oh, here's a Salesforce administrator role, but would like you to code some Apex and LWC, well, that's not a Salesforce administrator, that's a Salesforce developer. Okay. So there are going to be job ads that don't make sense. But if you think you want to do it and you think you like the company and you want that job, just go apply. The worst they can do is say no. I think it was Joe. Joe, if you're on here, Joe has already got 9 no's, right? 9 no's. That's fine, because that's 9.
Oh, I've got way more.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but my brother, I think really 6 months of hardcore kind of hustling for him to get his job. Another, I'm going to say friend, taxi driver, took 3 months for him to kind of skill up and hustle and get a job. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's starting from a different level. You might have got a degree, or you might already come from an industry which gives you lots of background experience, like financial services or healthcare. It's everyone's journey is different.
I have 3 years of experience as a head of sales in a Salesforce partner. And then I was an end user for Salesforce for 3 years. I hold a commercial position in the IT company. I intend to become a Salesforce freelancer for US or UK companies. Is that possible? What the next step should be?
Yeah. Okay. So a freelancer is a Salesforce professional who will work for multiple companies at once. A contractor is someone who works for one company at any one time. So look, I'm not too sure about your region. In Australia, in New Zealand, a freelancer is almost like you're running your own little mini consultancy firm. All right, you have a couple of clients, you're doing some small jobs, you're getting paid by the hour. Okay. Whereas a contractor, you're working for one person and you're getting paid by the day. I don't have any recommendations either way. I know if you go follow Ben Duncan, the influencer, on the other previous page, have a look at his posts. He's actually written something about that. I just can't recite it off the top of my head. But there's some pros and cons about either way. But yeah, go have a look at Ben Duncan's LinkedIn. Have a look at his posts, and he's written about that in the last couple months.
Thank you. I'll take one more question because we are almost at the end of the time, and then we'll do the game. The next question is, does that project well on the company if there are always hiring? How to research on a company if the company has a good reputation as regards to employee retention, inclusion, diversity?
What was the question again?
Really, it's about how to research for the reputation of the company.
Yeah.
It's a good company to work for. Retention.
Yeah. So Glassdoor is really good. So if you go to Glassdoor and look up your company there, quite often there will be those things. So there'll be, how the company's interview processes is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, so I've had a look at Glassdoor. Look, it's not uncommon today that companies are looking at, values that Salesforce have. So that's Salesforce's core values are trust, customer success, innovation, equality. But they've just launched a new core value in the last couple of days with our company kickoff, which I think is public, called sustainability. So now we have 5 core values. So I think definitely your GSIs and your SIs would be looking at those core values as well, which includes equality and sustainability. And yeah, if you're really passionate about those values, they're your values, you'd be looking for those values in your employer as well. And luckily in the Salesforce space, we have lots of companies that have those same values as well. Okay.
Thank you so much, Adam. Now we can go ahead and do the game in the end. Adam, would you like to share the screen again so that if anyone else is left, they can fill in the form and not miss out?
Yeah. Okay. Can you see the screen now?
So anyone who is left who would like to be the part of the contest can go in using this link and fill in the feedback form. I'll give a few minutes before I go ahead and play the game in the end. Only the people who have filled in the feedback form would be part of the game. If anyone is having any issues, feel free to unmute yourself and let me know what issues you're facing.
Right, and if you've already filled out the feedback form and you're just waiting, I see lots of folk putting their LinkedIn profile links in chat for everyone to start networking and connecting, which is great. So you might want to do the same. See, it's awesome.
All right, so I'll go ahead and share my screen now.
I've just put the feedback form link in the actual chat. Gerlene, we should have done that. It's all right.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So we have 30
Brilliant.
entries who filled in the feedback form. And now I'm going to spin the wheel. And let's see who wins. Samia, are you around?
Yeah.
Can you say hi? Hey, Samia, just feel free to share your email so that I can reach out to you.
Yeah, sure.
Guess what?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for joining today. Thank you everyone for joining today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We would be sharing this information over our Salesforce Women in Tech community, as well as on our LinkedIn pages. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, connect with us. We would love to connect with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me today, Gerlene. And again, thank you everyone for coming. We hope you got a lot out of this session and to help you on your Salesforce journey.
Perfect. Thank you,
Good night.
Adam. It was an amazing session. I know I learned a lot today.
That's awesome.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good day, everyone.